You ever read something so strange it just stops you in your tracks? There's this ancient meditation text, right? And it has this one instruction. Stop the doors of the senses when feeling the creeping of an ant. Then. A creeping ant? Seriously? What on earth could that have to do with finding inner peace? Well, let's dive into this, because hidden inside these weird words is an absolutely profound technique.
So that instruction is the heart of what we're talking about today. It sounds kind of poetic and mysterious, but it's actually a direct manual. It's a guide for shifting your entire experience of reality, especially when you're dealing with stuff like discomfort, pain, or just any overwhelming feeling.
Okay, let's really look at this. The creeping of an ant. They're not actually telling you to go find an ant. It's just a really powerful example. This could be literally anything that grabs your attention. You know, that nagging ache in your back, the shock of a cold sheet on your skin, some annoying car alarm going off outside, even a thorn in your foot. The whole point is to use any sensation as the trigger.
And that brings us to the big question, right? Stop the doors of the senses. It's a beautiful metaphor, sure, but how do you actually do that? I mean, how do you just close the very gateways you use to experience the world? Well, it turns out there's a surprisingly practical way to do it.
All right, so let's get practical. Let's take this poetic idea and turn it into something you can actually try. This is the how-to of becoming stone-like. The whole thing breaks down into 4 simple steps. First, you focus. Just pick whatever sensation you're feeling, that headache, that cold draft, and let it be your anchor point. Second, you intend. Close your eyes and your ears, but not just physically. You have to really truly intend to be blind and deaf. You are actively pulling your attention inward. Third, you extend that intention. Broaden it out to all 5 of your senses: taste, touch, smell, just imagining each one of them powering down. And now for the most important part, the final step. You stop your breath. Just for a second. That brief pause, it's like the final lock clicking into place on the doors. It seals the deal and creates this powerful moment of total inner stillness.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a little out there. So let me tell you a story. It's a real-world example of how this technique created something, well, something that can only be described as a miracle.
So picture this, an old man, a friend of the author, and he was a very, very restless guy. He has a terrible fall, and the doctors tell him he has to lie perfectly still in bed for 3 months. 3 months! For a guy who couldn't sit still for 3 minutes, this was basically a death sentence. And on top of it all, he was in constant, agonizing pain. He was absolutely desperate. He felt completely trapped. He actually told his friend, "Pray for me, so that I may die." To him, the instruction to remain stone-like wasn't a path to getting better. It felt like a fate worse than death itself.
So he's in this totally hopeless state, and his friend suggests this technique. He says, instead of just lying there in agony, what if you tried to become the stone? The man, of course, was skeptical. He didn't think it would work for a second. But, with absolutely nothing to lose, he agreed to give it a shot. His friend was watching him, expecting him to last, 2 or 3 minutes before he gave up. But he didn't. 30 minutes went by, and the man was in total, complete stillness. The tension just melted from his forehead. His breathing became calm and even. He looked like a statue. And when he finally opened his eyes, he was a completely different person. I mean, the change was just absolute. Before, you had a man completely consumed by severe pain, deep restlessness, and this visible tension all over his face. After just 30 minutes, he became this calm, still statue. And the most incredible part, the pain had completely vanished. He said it was a miracle.
So what in the world was going on inside his head during those 30 minutes? What did he actually experience that could cause such a massive shift?
Well, he explained that as he really fully committed to the idea of being a stone, the first thing he noticed was that the pain started to feel distant. Like it was still there, but it was way off in the distance. It felt like it was happening to someone else, not to him.
And then came the big breakthrough. As that feeling of being a stone got deeper and deeper, poof, the pain just vanished completely. And his own question reveals this profound logic he stumbled upon. How can a stone body have pain? See? By fully becoming the stone, he broke his connection, his identification with his pained body.
So why did this work? This wasn't just some mind trick to distract him from the pain. No, this was a fundamental shift in his entire relationship with his body and the world. Let's break down the principle behind the magic here. Okay, here's the core logic. First, you have to get that your body isn't really you. It's a part of the physical world, and it's connected to everything else through your senses.
So when you close the doors of the senses, you're not just closing yourself off from the world, you're also closing yourself off from your own body. And when that happens, you get thrown back into your own true center of awareness. And from that center, your whole perspective on everything just changes.
And that's what it means to be centered. Instead of being like a leaf just tossed around by every gust of wind from your senses, pain here, noise there, restlessness everywhere, you become the calm observer at the eye of the storm. You're looking at the world from your center instead of being lost in the world's chaos.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to explore for yourself. When all the doors are closed, when you are completely sealed off from the world, and even from your own body, where are you? Who is the one that's left? It seems like the answer to that is on the other side of that closed door.